my lighting setup. Um, so I've been getting some questions from people lately, and these questions make perfect sense. I just want to make that clear. So don't think of it as like anything bad or something, but um, yeah, this is it's a pretty hard topic to talk about. Um, you know, not just for me personally, but um, it has nothing really to do with the channel at all. Uh, but you guys saw the title of the live stream, so we're gonna dive right in. And this live is gonna be a little bit different. Obviously, as you guys can tell and whatnot, just even by looking at the title. But yeah, let's get started. So the hey, we got Christian Papa. What's up? You changed your YouTube profile logo. That's pretty cool. First one to join in. Big W's to you, dude. But yeah, so the title of the live is called My Story, The Move. And basically when we first started RCD 2007, it started out in a little town outside of Atlanta called Decula and Buford and that kind of stuff. We were kind of in the mix of two towns, but we started RCD 2007 kind of at the rental house in a way. By the way, if you guys have questions or anything, feel free to throw them at me. So we moved out of our original house. Well, let's start from the very beginning, actually. So we were at Chili's one night, and it was a normal night. Everything was going fine. And my parents told me that they had a super big announcement for us. And I thought it was maybe going to be like, oh, are we going out of the country on a vacation? Is family coming into town? Like, what's going on? And no, I got some very different news. I got the news that we were going to be moving out of our house and that we were going to be moving into a rental house for a year and then eventually moving to Nashville, Tennessee. And I know a lot of you guys are probably asking why am I live streaming this instead of not making a normal YouTube video. Part of it is YouTube Lives have infinite storage, so I never really have to worry about that. So yeah, we moved out of the Stonewater house. That house I lived in for most of my life, about 10 years, 10 to 11 years I lived in that house. It was where I built up my passion for RC vehicles. I was never into bass at the time, so we're not really going to talk about that. And that comes on later down the road. So we move into the rental house, and this is our last year in Georgia, and it was a big change that year. I ended up going to a different school called Hebron, and I met a lot of good people there, and one of my old neighbors went there, so I was never really worried about making friends and stuff because I was like, oh, okay, cool. I'm very social. I know how to make friends and stuff, and so, what's up, John? So I wasn't worried. And private school year, academic wise, was very rough, but friendship wise and people wise, it was great. I ended up making a best friend, which his name was Caleb Bunch, and me and him have done a few live streams together on this channel. He helped me film the very first ever YouTube short for this channel, which was the Hobby Zone Aero Scout short. I have no idea if that's still up there or not. But if it is, you guys can go and watch it. So 8th grade year kind of felt normal in a way. You know, we only lived 2 minutes away from the old house, and when we got home, I mean, my room was pretty sweet. I had my own bathroom. The view was not really the best, granted, but I actually really liked my room. I enjoyed it. I made a rock crawling course in there, and it was pretty cool. Um, so then after that, a year goes by, and eighth grade year is coming to an end. And I I remember on the last day of school at Hebron, I felt a lot of emotions. I wasn't necessarily the saddest to leave Hebron because I'd only been there for a year, but it was a good school, and the people there just made me feel welcome, and having friends there and stuff. It was really a great time, and I enjoyed. Heck, I had tennis class, so me and my buddy Caleb, we would go play tennis every day as long as it wasn't raining, and that was pretty freaking sweet having tennis class every day. So I enjoy tennis. I love the sport. If I had neighborhood tennis courts, I'd probably go and play every day, but we don't, so there's the catch. um, but yeah, so the last day of school, um, I said goodbye to my school friends and stuff, but like Caleb Bunch and my good buddies, I knew I was gonna see them again, like over the summer break and stuff. So I didn't say goodbye to them, but say goodbye to all my teachers and stuff, and just thanks for a great year. And um, so we move, school ends, and we basically have about a month and a half, actually more like a month left in the rental house. Now, my old rental house had a dirt track in the backyard that me and my dad made. It had a 124 scale crawler course and then a dirt track. So I took my Arma Vortex and my Slash two-wheel drive, not this one that you see behind me, which actually, let's bring it into the shot just to get some RC in the shot. Um, but it was a different two-wheel drive Slash. It had the Fox body on it, the black and white Fox body on it, which is probably my favorite Slash design in a way. But yeah, so the dirt track was awesome because I got to go back there and run laps and stuff. And I kind of made a track here at the current house, a driveway track in a sense, but I mean, it was cool. So after that, when we only had one more week, I mean, we were moving out on Wednesday. The last Thursday I spent in Georgia was with my buddy Brady, who, lifelong friend, really good guy. And we went tubing together, and the sunset and everything was so cool. And I was like, this is a great way to spend my last Thursday. So then we get into 2 days, and I actually went to go and hang out with one of my old neighbors, who is another good friend of mine. I mean, granted, I haven't talked to her in what, 2.5, 3 years, but um, we went to go get some froyo, and it was cool. Oh, oh, that's rain. Um, I enjoyed talking to her. It was fun. Unfortunately, her dog had passed away, so about a week before, so she wasn't in a bad mood by any means, and I was actually really close with her dog. Because when I lived in the old neighborhood, I'd go and see her all the time. But her dog died of cancer at the age of like 2.5, 3 years old. Um, Apparently, it's a fairly common thing with the breed of dog. Um, but yeah, and then moving day came, and moving day was crazy. And surprisingly, I'm very surprised I did not cry on moving day. Um, but walk through the day. I get up early, and I go to Caleb's house, and I spend the day with him. And that was actually when I got my Traxxas Blast, which you guys have seen on the channel for quite some time, especially at the hotel. But I ended up later on selling that boat due to maintenance problems, and he actually still has my Jet Jam, so it kind of works out in a sense. But we traded boats, and we drove out on the lake, and it was super cool. Um, and it was, I wasn't, I was sad, but I wasn't as sad to say goodbye to him as Brady, because me and Brady had known each other for about 8 years at the time, and for him, I only knew him. He was my best buddy in private school, so he that was definitely different. Because I'd only known him for like a year, but I was still sad because he was still like my best friend for the year. Um, but I said goodbye to him, and then Brady comes, and this was hard. It was really hard. He comes over, I take him up, and I show him my new boat, and I show him my room, and it's empty. And the look on his face, he was just absolutely in shock. He's like, wow, man, this is really happening. And I was like, yeah, it is. So, uh, yeah. And then I went out into the yard with him, and the last thing we ever did together was just throw a ball back and forth. And we did our secret handshake that we'd always do in middle school, and which was kind of like a remix of a Dude Perfect theme song in a sense. But it was created into our own special handshake. And so when I watched him drive away, I was really stirred. I didn't know whether to feel sad or angry in that moment. I was just kind of mild at the time. And at about 5-ish, we finally hit the road for Nashville. And that was the end of living in my hometown for the past 15 years. I remember when we get to the state line, and I'm just fidgeting with these, by the way. When we get to the state line, I turn around and I look back at Georgia and just kind of took in the moment, you know. So we get to Nashville, and our house isn't finished yet because of all the renovation craziness that had been going on. So we had to live in a hotel for 4 months, I think it was. But, I mean, it wasn't the worst. What's up, Haywire RC? It wasn't the worst because, you know, I could walk down and get a candy bar or soda, or I could hit up the gym or the pool at the hotel, and me and my cousin had our own room, and I had my own shower, so it wasn't bad, by all means. I keep having this itch on my back, if you guys can't tell. It was not bad, to say the least. And I made a lot of connections with a lot of people at the hotel, because every day I'd go out into the parking lot and rip an RC vehicle, or I'd go to the pool and rip my RC boat around. Heck, actually, one family ended up getting a RC boat because of me, and they brought it back the next day and we raced, so that was actually pretty cool. But then, so hotel life was kind of mild. I became homesick pretty quick. I missed having a house because the hotel just never really felt like home. It felt like I was on a vacation, and at the start of freshman year, I was kind of contemplating life because I was like, okay, you're still living in a hotel, and you're in high school now. Like, lots of big changes happen. So, you know, things at first didn't seem too bad. I made some really good friends, which have been on the channel multiple times, like the Shaw Aviation and Gamer Face were my two first friends. What's up, Zach? How you doing? And so, yeah, things just seem to be working out okay. Homecoming comes around, and I asked a girl out, and she said yes, but I was never really attracted to her in a sense. Like, I was just kind of dating her to fit in, and, like, I later on found out that she did some really creepy stuff, so I ditched her immediately. Now, normally I'm not that kind of guy, but, yeah, so after that, I wasn't sad at all, and, freshman year, math was hard. I had to end up taking summer school at the end of it. Freshman year sucked. It was a hard year. It was a transition year. not just in a new state, but in a new high school, and all these new people and all these new teachers. And in a way, it just really didn't really feel like school in a way. And it took me like over a year to get used to it. Um, my freshman year just had COVID screwed up. Yeah. Um, so yeah, just really, I was really just really ready to be done. And I was ready to be done with freshman year. I was ready to move on from it. And so freshman year goes around, and then sophomore year comes. And and we eventually got moved into our house, and I started doing a little bit of RC stuff every now and then, but not really too much. So moved in, had family Christmas here that year, and it was just, this house didn't really feel like home still. And I still wanted to go back to Georgia for quite some time. So sophomore year was yeah, Italian Ice Point. Not about you right now, bro. I'm sorry. It's not. You've said that in all the live streams. And yeah, I'm sorry your grandma died, but you don't need to keep bringing it up in every live stream that I do. So just stop, please. So yeah, sophomore year, I get to make more friends. And I ended up skipping HOCO that year because just because I wasn't really into anyone at that point. And so that year I just decided to make it a boys' year, you know, hang out with my friends and just continue school. And life was still good here at the house, and I'd made a lot more friends, and found a church home, which was awesome. It was really awesome. And my grandparents got all moved in and stuff, and I was finally starting to do some RC racing, and life just kind of started to take an uphill approach. And sophomore year ended out well. It turned up to be one of the best years of my whole high school career. And then summer break, and I turned 17, which I'm 17 right now. And then junior year, which junior year is the year I'm in now. And it's been okay. The work ethic your junior year is hard. Junior year is by far your hardest year in high school because they're just throwing you a ton of work at you, and you're having to do ACT, which I'm not going to do that. And if I do have to do that, I'm just going to rush through the whole thing because I don't plan on going to college. But so thank you for the compliment. I'm trying to come up with words to say, y'all. So what has really been the big change this year, I guess? And yes, I have had some of my Georgia friends over since I moved, and they seem to like the new house. And yeah, it started to feel like home. And junior year, my teachers this year seem great. I have decent relationships with all my teachers, and yeah. And but the thing that changed this that this junior year changed was being in a relationship, and we still are, by the way. So, don't think of it as a past thing. But that's been a big change for me, and I'm very grateful because she pushes me to do my work. She's always there, and I'm so thankful to have her in my life because she's really made a pretty big impact on it, I will say. Heck, now that I'm with her, I don't even want to go back to Georgia. So I guess that's one thing you could say that's pretty positive. And I went to HOCO this year with her, and I guess you could say it was the best night of my life. Because it was just a good night, good food, good dancing. Um, and yeah, it was a good night. It was a really good night. It was a night that I never wanted to end because I was having that good of a time. But hey, we got prom coming up in May, so I'm very hype about that. Like I'm super hype. Because prom is better than HOCO, 100%. So, yeah. And that's basically kind of my story, y'all. Um, some things are meant to be. Sucks to leave your childhood home, but exiting the comfort zone builds strength. Yeah, and I actually I did the meanest prank on her at the start of our relationship. I told her I was moving back to Georgia, and I made it so serious, and she just starts crying. And the whole day I felt so bad because I thought she'd be like, yeah, okay, have fun, move back to Georgia, but no, I was like, dang, she passed the test. Um, but yeah, I know I haven't done a prank like that since. Don't ever do that. Just don't ever do that. I'm genuinely surprised that when I told her that I didn't get smacked in the face, but instead she hugged me, which I was very surprised. I was super surprised. I thought I was gonna get slapped for sure. She sounds like a real one. Yeah, she is. Um, there are two things in a relationship that are huge to me: trust and loyalty. Those are my top two things, which, granted, I guess pulling a prank like that isn't really either one of those, but we moved on since past that. And yeah. And um, yeah, so that's kind of my story, y'all, and the move and stuff. Um, but the hardest part of the move was saying goodbye to all my friends in Georgia. Um, that was a huge part for me because my brother didn't have a lot of friends in Georgia. He has way more here in Nashville, which I'm really happy for. Um, but I had more friends in Georgia. But if you compare it to now, which by the time I'm making this is December of 2024, I'd say I'm pretty balanced with the amount of friends that I had in Georgia. Um, and yeah, it was surreal. And, I was really looking forward to moving, and then it sucked. It sucked to move. But in a sense, I'm kind of grateful because ever since I did move to Nashville, I started learning how to play bass. Uh, and I practiced. Guitar fans don't get offended. But like the day we got here to Nashville, I started playing guitar like it was a bass. And I tried to prove to my parents that I could get a bass. And well, I did. And I put hundreds, if not thousands of hours into hundreds of thousands of hours of playing bass. I practiced for about 2 to 3 hours every day. So, um, yeah, I guess you could say I'm pretty dedicated to it right now. Um, but moving to Nashville changed my perspective on music because now I'm playing in a band. and not like a school band, like a rock, just kind of do any music band. And Nashville changed my perspective on music. It really did. And there is no better place in the whole USA to be into music than Nashville. It's called Music City for a reason, because there's great music, there's great food. Nashville is the place to be for a music artist. And if you're not even a music artist, just a player, if you're a guitarist, if you're a bassist, if you're a key player, if you're a drummer, you know, all these things, Nashville is the place to be. And if we hadn't have moved to Nashville, I probably wouldn't even be into bass. And if I didn't put thousands of hours into playing on my Amazon bass, I wouldn't have that Fender Jazz bass that's sitting behind me right now, which is behind the Slash, by the way. Which actually, I am going to give you guys a little bit of an update on that from yesterday, but that's my story. That's my moving story and my life story over the past couple years, and change is inevitable, and it happened big time. But I'm really glad that we moved here in the long run, because moving to Nashville has changed me as a person. And if I wouldn't have moved to Nashville, I wouldn't be in a relationship right now. So that's a huge thing to be grateful for. Okay, wrapping that up, let's move on to some RC updates. So, the monorail is officially being sold for $150. As for the Slash, which, granted, we put a lot of time working on the Slash yesterday, and I'm sorry I haven't read some of your comments. I was finishing up my story. But hi, I'm back. Welcome. And yeah, so updates. The Slash behind me. So the build is officially complete. I said I was going to do a part 2 on doing the clipless system, but I just wanted to get it all done in one night. So, as you can see from the 4 black pieces right here and up here at the front, the clipless system has been fully installed. And I'm going to show you guys how that works. Obviously, for those of you guys who have a newer Slash, you already know how it works. But for us old Slash guys, you reach your hand under and you just push on the clips. And what's in your pocket? Nothing's in my pocket. And where did I get my hoodie from? I got my hoodie from school. It's a school merge hoodie. It's actually very comfortable. So yeah, you just move the 4 clips. Body comes off. You do have to drill some holes in the body, but it uses the existing holes to kind of tell you where to drill, and they give you a decal sheet. So that's super helpful. And the clips, it makes the body stronger, that's for sure. How soft is it? It's pretty soft. But yeah, so the other things that I did, as you can see, we now have the clipless shock towers on the front and the back. We have the Valenian brushless system in it now. It is no longer running the BL2S system, which, granted, my buddy said if he has some old 3-cell batteries, he's actually going to end up giving them to me, which is super generous. And this system absolutely hates to run on nickel metal batteries. I mean, it absolutely just hates it. It will cut out and cut out and cut out, and you have to constantly just go and restart the truck. And I put the ESC into nickel metal mode, and it still freaking cuts out. So I don't really know why that is, y'all. If you guys could tell me, that would be great. If you guys have any advice on the VXL 3S system, please let me know. But we're going to be running 3S in this truck soon. Shocks, I rebuilt the shocks, and for some reason the back shocks, I don't know if this Valenian system is heavier in a way. But it's definitely, it's like the back just doesn't want to come up all the way for some reason. And so, yeah. Oh, hey, this RC car chassis was actually made in Taiwan. I thought it was made in China. Look at that. Hey, something that, I mean, I get it. Arrma is a, Horizon Hobby is an American brand, but Arrma's, I think itself, is a British brand from what I remember. And I know their socks are, bleh. I know their, RC car parts are made in China, so, but yeah, so, let's see, some advice. Uncle Fester, I think is how you say that. I could be wrong. You might have air in the shocks. Yeah, I very well could. That's actually a good idea. Because the front shocks come up, well, I say that. No, I guess it is pretty even. We might need to raise the back up just a little bit more, but, what grade are you in? I'm a junior. But yeah, if you guys know how to get your VXL system working on a NiCad battery, please let me know. I don't plan on using these batteries permanently by any means whatsoever, but just as a temporary solution. So if you guys could let me know, that would be greatly appreciated. We did have to do a controller swap on it. So the one that it came with, the multifunction knob, was not working. So I bound another TQI up to it, and now it works great. So not really concerned about that at all. If I was in the same school as you, I would know, because I was here in the same building. You would have been something. I would have probably talked to you about your RC cars. Yeah, I'm always happy to talk about my RC cars, man. I love inspiring people into the hobby and just getting to know what kind of RC stuff you like and stuff. So, you know, at some point I want to work at a hobby shop when I have my own cars. So, and just be able to help people out and be honest about RC stuff, because I feel like the main thing with hobby shops is because they are smaller, they want to try and sell you stuff. I have 2 local hobby shops near me, and I'm not going to call out any names or any brand names, but one is definitely more honest than the other. And that's the one I end up going to more often, which is in Murfreesboro. But I'm not going to call out, or not Murfreesboro, I'm sorry, Smyrna. Can you put your phone in your pocket sometimes? Yeah, I mean, it has a pocket. I can't put it in my pocket right now because I'm using my phone to live stream. But yeah. So that's one of the RC updates, is the Slash VXL project. Oh, I also put the heavy-duty drive shafts in the back to handle the extra power. This thing is going to be stupid fast, y'all. It's going to be a crazy build when it's finished. So I am looking forward to the future with this car. And yeah, I'm very excited. I'm excited for what the future has to bring for me in this car, and hopefully we'll be able to relive some memories that I made a couple years ago. Which, for those of you guys who actually don't know, before I had an Arma Vendetta, which was like one of the first cars I ever featured on this channel, I actually had a two-wheel drive Slash. And it was a VXL. And then I actually ended up selling it to be able to buy the Vendetta. But now the Vendetta is discontinued. And I really missed how my Slash drove. So, it's really good to have it back. Because there's not a more durable, fun RC car out there than the Slash. At least the two-wheel drive Slash. The four-wheel drive Slash I'm skeptical about because it has a lot of maintenance problems. And my friends have reported that. And my Rustler 4x4 is pretty much the exact same platform. And it has maintenance issues. So the two-wheel drive Slash is definitely more cost-efficient. It's a lot easier to work on. And I would definitely... You could probably put your phone in your pocket when you're live. I'm not going to do that, dude. No. We're here to talk RC stuff, not about hoodie pockets. But yeah, so I guess you could say in a way that me and Dylan, we are rivals in the RC world. We are very big rivals. You know, I beat him mostly every single time. And he's never really beat me at all. He's only beat me once. What was your first RC car? My very first RC car was a Losi mini desert truck, I think is what it was called. It did about 17 miles an hour. I really liked the body color on it. I had the green one. It was pretty cool. I miss driving that car. Technically, I can still drive it, but I'm trying to preserve it because it was my first car. My first high-performance RC car was a Traxxas Mini E Revo. And that car... Oh, the amount of maintenance issues that car had. I stripped out so many differentials on that car. Hello.
It's gonna be time to do some of that cleaning soon.
Okay.
Like really soon.
Okay.
Okay.
I said okay?
Why does it smell?
Smell like what?
Oh, it smells weird.
Okay.
So when there's trash and stuff.
I know what I need to do.
Well, it shouldn't get there in the first place. That should be a daily thing.
Sorry about that. Definitely some more upgrades in the future. I'm going to be upgrading the body to have onboard audio. So we'll have onboard audio running on this car soon to have engine sound kits and stuff, because who doesn't want an engine sound kit in their RC car? Like, come on, that's pretty cool, if you ask me. Actually, it looks like I might have bent the rear bumper a little bit. I don't know. RC Fantic says hi. What's up? And also, I probably should change out the back tires and swap them to the front and put the front tires in the back, because these back tires are starting to go bald. Yeah, they're really starting to go bald. So we got to fix that. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got for you guys. And at least for tonight. And yeah. So as always, y'all, I'm RCD2007, and we will see you in the next one. Take care.